Hello everyone, wishing you a wonderful day. Today, we're going to explore a quiet farm morning that turns into something unexpectedly life-changing, because one finished gate might mean a whole new future for Tuna and little Henry. Stay with me to find out why this small moment matters so much. And if you enjoy it, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. The first pale light of dawn crept through the gaps in the wooden walls, barely warming the cold morning air. Tuna sat at the old dining table, one hand steadying a small bowl while the other lifted a spoon toward little Henry's mouth. "Come on, Henry," she whispered softly, her voice calm and patient. "Eat nicely. This one tastes good." Henry kicked his legs, letting out a small laugh, porridge smudged at the corner of his lips. Tuna smiled, but behind that smile lived a constant undercurrent of worry, the kind that never left a mother's heart. She wiped his mouth gently, brushed her fingers through his fine hair, and looked at him for a moment longer than necessary, as if trying to store the image away. Mrs. Tang stood nearby, watching quietly. Tuna turned to her tone polite but firm. "Please help me finish feeding Henry. I need to go to work now." Mrs. Tang nodded and reached for the spoon. Tuna rose quickly, slipped into her thin jacket, and moved toward the door. Outside, the familiar sounds of the farm waited: pigs, chickens, the rustle of dry leaves. Before stepping out, she glanced back one last time. Henry was focused on the spoon again, safe in Mrs. Tang's arms. Her chest tightened briefly, but she pushed the feeling aside. There was work to do. The path ahead was already etched into her routine. Care for the animals, tend the land, manage the small but endless responsibilities that came with keeping everything running. The year was drawing to a close, and the pressure felt heavier than usual. Tuna walked forward, her steps measured, carrying a quiet hope that the day would pass smoothly, that Henry would be fine, that work would not bring unexpected problems, that she could return home earlier than usual. The cool morning air carried a sense of endurance, the silent strength of someone who keeps going not because it is easy, but because stopping is not an option. Across town, in a modest living room washed with late-year sunlight, Alex sat beside his mother. The curtains filtered the light gently, warming her face as she listened. Alex spoke about work, his voice steady as he explained the rush before Tet orders coming in, contracts closing, clients pushing for large deliveries. His mother nodded, familiar with the rhythm of his responsibilities. Then his tone shifted, softening as he mentioned the farm. "I went there yesterday," he said. "The workers finished the house and the kitchen. The gate should be almost done today." There was a note of anticipation in his voice. He wanted everything completed before Tet, wanted Tuna and Henry to move in without stress, without delay. His mother smiled, her eyes shining. "If it's finished soon," she said gently, "Tuna and the child can celebrate Tet with us, right?" She admitted she hadn't visited in a long time and missed them both. Alex promised to take her once she had time. For a brief moment, the room felt especially warm, mother and son, sharing not just conversation, but the same quiet dream of a larger, complete family. Alex stood to leave, already mentally returning to work. His mother reminded him to be careful, watching as he walked out. He carried with him a silent promise. That house would be ready, and this Tet would be different. The meeting room at the company was bright and orderly, tension humming beneath the surface. Alex sat at the head of the table as Secretary Lan went through the reports. Raw materials were running low. Starch inventory was still sufficient, around 350 tons of good quality stock left. Alex listened carefully, then gave clear instructions. Complete production, prioritize Adam's large order, stop purchasing new raw materials with Tet approaching. He thought about the workers, people who had worked tirelessly all year. "Give everyone a bonus equal to 1 extra month's salary," he said. "Holiday starts on the 25th. Lan nodded, writing quickly. They discussed machine maintenance during the break, ensuring everything would restart smoothly after Tet. When the meeting turned to the red pomelo shipment for Adam, Alex said he would call to confirm pickup. Outside the windows, yellow leaves drifted slowly to the ground. The year was closing, heavy but nearly complete. Alex rose from his seat, feeling both the weight of responsibility and a quiet sense of order. He was taking care of the business, of his people, and in his own way, of Tuna. Later that afternoon, Tuna walked along the dirt path toward the farm. The autumn wind brushed her hair back as she approached the entrance. When the new gate came into view, she stopped. Her eyes widened. The gate stood solid and wide, its wood smooth and carefully finished. "They finished it so fast," she murmured, amazement and gratitude rising together. She stepped inside slowly, taking everything in. The flower beds had already been prepared, the ground leveled and ready. She knelt and began scooping soil into place, her hands trembling slightly. Each movement felt meaningful. She imagined the house, the kitchen, the first Tet she and Henry would spend here without fear or hardship. The wind moved through the trees like a soft blessing. Tears slipped down her cheeks, and she wiped them away quickly, smiling to herself. This place was changing, and so was her life. Alex arrived not long after, spotting her immediately. "Have you been here long?" he asked gently. Tuna looked up, her expression bright. "Just a little while." He joined her, helping carry soil from the other side. They worked together easily, exchanging small comments about the gate, the house, the schedule before Tet. Tuna watched him quietly, her heart full. He always seemed to arrive at the right moment. That alone made her feel safe. Their hands brushed occasionally as they worked, and neither pulled away. The afternoon light wrapped around them, warm and forgiving. When they finally sat down on the steps, tired but content, Alex turned to her. "I want to give you and your child the best things I can," he said. Tuna lowered her head, overwhelmed. "You are my love," he added simply. They talked about plans, buying flowers, decorations, even new clothes for Tet. Tuna worried about his workload, but he reassured her. She mentioned the small savings she had, wanting to help. Alex shook his head. "Keep that for Henry. I'll handle the rest." As the sun dipped behind the bamboo grove, they stood and walked toward the pens together. Feeding the animals became a shared rhythm, simple, quiet, natural. The red glow of sunset settled over the farm. Tuna leaned gently against his shoulder, feeling peace settle deep inside her. The day was ending, but something new was clearly beginning. Tuna headed down the dirt path toward the farm with a small bag on her shoulder and a mind that wouldn't settle. The wind had that late-year bite, the kind that makes you pull your collar up even when the sun is still out. Ahead, bamboo leaves clicked together, chickens fussed, and pigs grumbled, sounds that always reminded her why she kept going. Then the new gate appeared around the last bend, and she stopped. It wasn't just done. It looked strong and clean. The wood fitted so neatly that the whole entrance felt wider than before. The posts stood straight, the crossbeams lined up perfectly, and the color of the timber warmed under the afternoon light. "Wow, they really finished it," she murmured. She stepped closer and brushed her fingers along the grain, solid, safe, like something that would still be standing after the roughest storm. She pictured Henry, small hands on the gate one day, and her eyes stung. Inside the yard, a tidy space near the entrance had been cleared, beds shaped and ready, like someone had prepared a place for beauty to grow. Tuna set her bag down and crouched, scooping up a handful of earth. It was cool and slightly damp, smelling like clean rain and new beginnings. "I can't believe this is real," she whispered, mostly to herself. She started working right away, because moving her hands kept her emotions from overflowing. She loosened the soil, pulled weeds, and traced the edges of the beds with her palms. Every small movement felt like a thank you. She imagined Tet flowers lining the gate, the house behind her glowing at night, and Henry running around in new clothes with a laugh that filled the whole yard. A shadow fell across the soil. When she looked up, Alex was standing there. He didn't announce himself. He just appeared, like he always seemed to, at the exact moment her heart was full. His sleeves were rolled up, and his eyes went straight to her hands in the dirt. Then he smiled. "Have you been here long?" he asked, voice warm and low. Tuna wiped her fingers on her pants and stood. "Not too long. I wanted to see the gate." Alex glanced back at it, satisfaction clear on his face. "It turned out better than I expected," he said. "The wood is good. It'll last." "It's beautiful," Tuna said, and her voice softened. "I didn't think it would be finished this fast." He crouched beside her, grabbed a tool, and nodded toward the beds. "Let's fill them properly. If we do it now, tomorrow we can buy flowers and plant right away." Just like that, they worked side by side. Alex carried soil from the other end of the yard, Tuna spread it evenly, and the two of them fell into a rhythm that felt natural. Their hands brushed sometimes when they reached for the same tool. In the pauses, the quiet between them felt like a language of its own. Tuna stole quick looks at him. He ran meetings and signed contracts, but here he was shaping flower beds like it mattered. And to her, it mattered more than any luxury gift. Alex caught her staring and raised an eyebrow. "What? Did I do something wrong?" Tuna shook her head, a small smile slipping out. "No, it just feels different, in a good way." Alex didn't tease her. He just nodded, as if he understood. "I want it to feel like home," he said, "not just a house." That sentence landed heavy and gentle at the same time. For years, she'd survived without letting herself imagine comfort. Even after Alex came into her life, part of her still waited for the kindness to end. But standing here with dirt on her hands and Alex beside her, she felt a steadiness she hadn't known in a long time. They finished the last bed as the sunlight turned deeper and warmer. Alex sat back on his heels and exhaled. "Okay," he said. "Tomorrow we shop. Flowers, decorations, whatever you want." Tuna hesitated, the reflex to worry about money rising up. "You're busy. And Tet is expensive. Maybe we don't need—" "I can arrange my schedule," Alex said gently, stopping her spiral. "And don't overthink the cost. I want to do this." Tuna tried again, softer. "I saved a little. I can help." Alex shook his head with a small smile. "Keep your savings for Henry," he said. "Let me take care of the rest." Her throat tightened. She turned her face away for a second, pretending to brush dirt off her sleeve. When she looked back, she forced her voice steady. "Thank you." Alex stood and offered his hand to pull her up. His palm was warm, firm, steady. As the sun dipped toward the bamboo grove, the air cooled. The farm looked softer in this light. The gate stood tall at the entrance. The beds waited for flowers, and the new house in the background looked less like a construction site and more like a future. Tuna listened to the animals for a moment, then remembered the everyday things that never waited for anyone's emotions. "Have I fed the pigs and chickens yet?" she asked, half laughing at herself. Alex laughed too. "Not yet," he said. "Want to do it together?" They walked toward the pens, shoulder to shoulder. The pigs grunted like they were complaining about being late for dinner. The chickens clucked and shifted, already gathering near the trough. Alex grabbed the feed bucket before Tuna could, and she rolled her eyes. "You're acting like you've done this your whole life." "I'm learning," he said, and there was quiet pride in it. Tuna scattered feed while Alex poured water. For a few minutes they didn't talk. They didn't need to. The work spoke for them. Two people building a routine that felt like the start of a shared life. When a chicken darted too close, Tuna laughed and stepped back, and Alex instinctively moved slightly in front of her, like he could protect her from anything, even a bold hen. By the time they finished, the sky was painted in that deep Tet season red. Tuna stood still, listening to the familiar chorus of the farm pigs settling, chickens rustling, bamboo leaves swaying. She felt Alex's shoulder brush hers, and she leaned into it without thinking. Alex looked out across the yard, then down at her. "We're almost there," he said quietly. Tuna nodded. Yeah, we really are. They stayed like that a little longer, letting the sunset close the day. And as the last light slipped behind the grove, Tuna realized something simple but powerful. This place wasn't changing only because of new wood and fresh paint. It was changing because she wasn't carrying it alone anymore. On the way back toward the house, Alex pointed to the kitchen area and the fresh concrete path. "Mom asked about coming here," he said, tone casual, eyes careful. "She misses Henry. She hopes we can celebrate Tet together if everything is ready." Tuna's stomach fluttered. The idea felt warm, but it also carried a nervous edge, like walking into a room where you don't know the rules. She nodded anyway. "If she comes, I'll cook," she said, trying to sound light. Alex squeezed her hand. "You don't have to prove anything," he replied. "You just have to be here." Tuna let that sink in, and for once, she didn't argue with her own happiness. If it's hard, we face it together. Always. Tuna starts her day at dawn, feeding baby Henry porridge before rushing to work and farm chores, trusting Mrs. Tang to watch him. While she pushes through the year-end grind, Alex focuses on finishing the farmhouse before Tet, hoping Tuna and Henry can finally move in and celebrate without hardship. He updates his mother with excitement, then returns to the company to manage deadlines, inventory, and worker bonuses, making sure everyone can rest for the holiday. Back at the farm, Tuna is stunned by the newly completed gate and prepared flower beds, feeling Alex's care in every detail. When Alex arrives, they work side by side, sharing quiet warmth and unspoken trust. He reassures her, calls her his love, and promises flowers, decorations, and new Tet clothes. As sunset falls, they feed pigs and chickens together, building hope for a peaceful Tet.